All right, if you didn't turn off while I was doing my little dance there, I want to welcome everybody to another Brickworld video. This time I'm coming to you solo because, as everybody knows, Mark is away, and when the cat's away, the mouse will play. So Ben ZCerberus here from the Brickworld team, bringing you a set dissection, sort of an emergency set dissection, because I was out today at a local retailer and I happened to run into a set out on the shelf, maybe a little early. And so because of that, I thought we could take a look here at Ahsoka Tano's T-6 Jedi Shuttle, set number 75362. And of course, keeping with our Brickworld theme, I'm not going to be reviewing the set. Instead, I'm going to tear this puppy open and see what's inside in terms of parts, minifigures, stickers, things that we might be able to use in some of the things that I'm currently building. Use the new sets, the new parts for some new inspiration for my own creation. You can see here in the background that I have got a mech that I've been working on. If you attend our live streams, you've probably gotten several views on what we're calling Mr. Heavy Pants mech here. But as you can tell, the color scheme on Mr. Heavy Pants perfectly matches the T-6 Jedi Shuttle. So what we like to do here on Brickworld and on our live stream is sometimes we take one of these new sets, tear it up, and see what's inside and what we can do with it. Looks like I'm going to have a lot of parts that are the perfect color for what I'm working on right now. I also see that it's got a function of rotation built in, which might be good. Mechs, of course, use a lot of rotating parts, and I'm pretty interested in this big Technic gear in here. I have a couple myself already, but I want to see, taking a look through the instructions, how it's geared up, hopefully to not move around too much, to be pretty stable in its motion. So we might get a good look at the instructions and see if there's a cool technique in there as well. Like I said, this is not your normal set review. Instead, we're really going to dissect the set and see what we can find. So let's get started. I'll tear this guy open here. While I'm doing that, you can tell that my background here is never going to be a clean background designed for proper set reviews. My background is really always probably going to have a bit of mess for whatever it is I'm building and working on now. For anyone new to the Brickworld channel, you can see in the background here, I've got a couple of things. I've got a classic space base, which is also a computer. It's out of focus at the moment, but that's what we affectionately call the Gudamine computer, because it's water cooled with a beautiful goo. Let's see if we can get in focus here on our sticker sheet. And you can also see I've got a partially built ship over here for Shiptember, a spaceship. We're actually modifying this one on a go-forward basis. But now that we're in focus, let's get a quick look at the sticker sheet here. Nothing too spectacular in the sticker sheet. There's a couple of good generic stickers to go on some black tiles to add a little mechanical detail. I always do appreciate the round stickers as well, mostly because if you put it on a tile that has the single stud on the back, you can kind of rotate the tile in any direction to kind of give different effects. So not too many stickers in this set. Decent mechanical detail, but probably not anything that I'm going to be using too enthusiastically on my mechs. But still, a couple of okay stickers in there. All right. Now, I know Mark likes to just sort of dig into any bag. He doesn't care if we start with 1, 2, or 3 when he dissects the set. And I might go a little out of order here too, but we're going to start with bag number 1 because I'm sure that regardless of anything else, people are probably interested in what sort of minifig parts we're going to get in a set like this. And I already see a lot of cool and interesting minifig bits that we'll definitely want to talk about here when we have this open. The first thing that I'll note is this new head for our character there. Nice tan color. Obviously, he's a Star Wars character, but he'd also make a pretty good generic alien, in my opinion, as well. Let's see if we can get the focus really good on this guy. Well, still all a little blurry, but a nice sort of generic alien head. If you don't want to build the actual character, I'll slap the character together here for our reference. He's got a pretty nice little design. You know, maybe this is the one downside to having sort of a busy background. It tends to steal some of the focus away on the camera, but there we go. We've got him up on the space base there. He looks like he'd kind of fit in anywhere. So even if you're not a Star Wars person, a cool generic alien can be yours as well. Of course, the primary figure for the T-6 Jedi Shuttle would be Ahsoka herself. Again, same thing. Let's see if we can get some nice focus here. There we go. Look at Ahsoka there. Pretty decent print. I like the dark blue on white. It's very, very popping color. Yeah, the robe itself is generic enough. And even though I suppose this is orange skin for Ahsoka, these could just be orange colored arms or sleeves. So really not a big deal there. It's another good generic looking figure there. One thing you will note from the series itself is that Ahsoka's blades are white. So we do have these sort of not perfectly see-through lightsaber blades. You kind of see they're kind of a little fuzzy, right? A little hazy, I guess, in their look. It's sort of the new standard for a lot of these translucent pieces. So we'll give Ahsoka a pair of lightsabers. I dropped one of the hilts there, but as many know, Lego, of course, gives you an extra. The other thing I think I've noticed from the Ahsoka series is one of the two sabers she's carrying, and I'm sure there's some lore around where she got them over time and whatever else, is that I believe one of the blades is shorter than the other. No such luck here. These are both exactly the same. There you can see her in focus with the sort of hazy looking blades. All right, so now that we've got Ahsoka built up, let's see if there's any interesting or cool parts down here in bag number 1. And we'll loosen up my camera and mount it up here. Let's see, looking through, we've got some printed tiles in here. They're probably in some fashion supposed to go on our mechanical droid friend. It's probably a backpack or something similar. But it's a decent print. I think it's generic enough that you could use it as a detail on my own creation, on a mock that you build. Outside of that print, let's see what else we have here. Got some 2x4 tiles. I don't think that those are particularly unique anymore, but we do have a pair of them here in this first bag. I'm always excited to see this piece. It's a great little detailing piece, or greeble as we call it, sort of a mechanical detail. So this little 1x1 with the bar on it. There's quite a few in dark gray here. It's a color that I really like because it can be used for both stone and generic metallic type pieces in construction. So for those, plus the extra, so 5 in this first bag. Let's see, anything else that we find really interesting in here? Some more of this piece. This piece, I would say, is becoming fast and furious one of the best pieces to own in Lego for MOCers. It's this 1x2 round with the 2 hollow studs in it. This part's no longer super rare. You can get it and find it often in Lego sets, but it's a great piece for any number of reasons. It's great for building curved structures. Since the corners are rounded over, as well as being able to stick bars and pieces through the open holes. So a really useful piece to have as well, as I'm considering whether or not this would be a great parts pack. You know, I could honestly say it probably won't be overall. The price on this particular set in the US is $80 for only about 600 pieces. So it's one of those sets that's probably going to be better served if you're not looking to build the actual set or collect the minifigures, to wait until it ends up on clearance. I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up on clearance, not because I think the set is particularly unattractive. I think it actually looks pretty nice, but because a lot of people will say $80 is too much for a Lego set in general. So a lot of those end up getting fairly decent price cuts towards the end of their life cycle. We also have 4 of these kind of bread loaf pieces, as we've come to call them. They're rounded over on the top. They're popular to use on the top of a castle, for example, as well as, again, for a mechanical detail, something that looks a little rounded over. Being able to make a little bit of round design on any sort of Lego set, really cool, to try to break sort of the square template or the square medium that you're presented with in Lego. Another part that's a little on the newer side, it's a 2x4 double jumper in black. You know, I don't really see where you're going to need to use this as compared to a pair of 2x2s with stud in the middle, but if for any reason you need one that's 4 long instead of 2 long, well, here you go, you got one. My Butterfingers dropped this guy here, but we picked it back up. So I think that's sort of the highlights from bag 1 from what you might want. There's a couple of red slopes and slants in here. That's, of course, useful to me for purposes of building mechs. Always nice to have a variety of parts in the dark red color space. And of course, everybody knows, or everybody should know, that one of the challenges we face with dark red, at least in the past with Lego, is that the color was a bit brittle, so it would tend to break while you were working with it. So that usually is the case more so for plates, though it can happen on those 1x1 cheese slopes as well. Okay, we're going to go out of order now, us rebels. Maybe another shout out there to the Ahsoka series, which follows a lot of the Star Wars Rebels DNA. So we're going to be a little rebellious here and open bag 6. I think the highlight for bag 6 we can already see here. Though it looks like we got another little Easter egg part that's kind of fun in here that we can talk about. So first and foremost, the windscreen. It's your pretty typical shape with the clips on the front. No sticker though. It's already printed in a light bluish gray type design. giving sort of separation to the various sections of the windscreen. So my print on this particular one is pretty straight, I'm going to say. Looks pretty good. No real defects or anything like that. So it'll be a good piece to use on a mech or something with the lighter color windscreen if I want to use it. I'd say the other piece highlight here has got to be this piece. It is a 1x2 sort of double quarter slope, or double quarter circle. I guess that makes it a half circle. So there you go, the half circle in light bluish gray. Going to be a really good piece to use for castle building, as well as for any kind of mechanical detail in light bluish gray that you want to do. So really good piece there. I can never get enough of the 1x1 with hand. This is the newer style one, of course, that's able to hold a 1x2 tile in it without cracking. They sort of built the stress relief in by having the clip be more of a rounded over U shape instead of solid at the bottom. So bag 6, not too thrilling. We got a couple pieces that we're going to be able to use for some of our mocks, but for the most part, pretty standard fare. Maybe this part is also a little interesting for people. Sort of the mini tiny, I don't know if it's a boat hull or what you would call it, the double inverted slope with the cutout in the middle there. I also got a pair of these newer 1x3 panel pieces as opposed to the 1x1 with the 2 corners or the 1x2s. Starting to see more of these in the 3 long variety. Pair of those in there as well. Alrighty. Let's see. Bag number 4 is staring at me here. Kind of thinking we'll go to bag number 4. I can see Sabine in bag number 4 here. So let's get a good look at Sabine when we get her out. All right. I already see we've got a big tile piece. One of these newer 2x3 tiles. I saw these in another color earlier as well. That newer shooter style in the pearl dark gray. A couple of those in the set. Looks like only one in this bag, unless I missed the other one. But one in this bag. And let's take a look inside. You've got the classic Mandalorian / clone trooper baggie full of the various helmet accessories. In and out of focus. There we go. So classic. You can always end up with a few extra of those, which is nice. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Rebels, maybe you can, or not Rebels, but Ahsoka, turn your volume down for half a second. Sabine does use Ezra's lightsaber, which we have here in green. And she's got this nice purple hair piece here. So let's get a good look at Sabine if we can get her there. There we go. Nice and sharp there. She is wearing her Mandalorian armor breastplate here with some nice coloration on it. It's both orange, dark red, and purple. She doesn't have any arm printing though, which is a little disappointing, but I guess I'll get over it. And again, this newer style lightsaber blade that's kind of got that newer translucent color that's a little foggy for lack of a better, little hazy for lack of a better word. Yeah, come on, let's get. Whoop. There we go. Get our focus in on there. So not too bad. I think we also want to take a look at Sabine, of course, with the helmet on. The helmet is quite lovely, if I'm being honest here. There's several colors going on, but I think they all work pretty well together. We've got dark pearl helmet, dark pearl gray, and then sort of this lighter silver color accent on both of the sort of cheek protections, and then the more Sabine-like looking design there with sort of the more Y-shaped as opposed to the T-shaped visor, and some nice light blue accent colors on there to go with sort of a dark red, maybe a dark orangish color around sort of those eye shaping bits. So very, very beautiful helmet. Of course, it can be used generically, but fits Sabine quite well. Don't really have a comparison to the on-screen version. Seems like, maybe it needs more purple. I don't know, but I'll reserve judgment. I think it looks pretty good. Sabine's also got sort of this old pistol style blaster as well. I actually really like this pistol blaster. More so than the regular Star Wars ones. This one's been around a little longer. It's sort of more of a generic henchman-like looking pistol, but I really like it. Let's see. In terms of other parts, we've got some more of my favorite 1x2, this time in black. Looks like we got 4 of those. We also have a pair of our 1x1 round with bar attachment in light bluish gray this time. So we've got a mixture of both dark bluish gray and light bluish gray, as well as these 1x1s with the little anti-stud in there. I don't know if it's an anti-stud so much. It can take the smaller accessories that work for hair pieces and like the Friends line. It can also take in anything that normally plugs into a helmet for an accessory, like a crown or a plume as well. And of course, works really well as a mechanical detail, but also plugs into, with its shape, the receptacle on the Apollo stud there, letting you reverse directions or add another detail going upright. So another pretty cool greebly piece coming in this set here. Looks like we've got like I said, just one of these Pearl Blasters in bag number 4. Might be another one in another set. I always tend to try to put these in backwards. I don't know why, but I always put the blaster piece in the wrong direction the first time. I don't know if it's just a natural reaction to the way it's shaped, and I think it goes in the other way. I'm not sure, but always ends up being the wrong direction for me. We also had that I just saw while I was taking this out here, one of the half 2x2 squares. So that diagonal square tile piece, which is a cool detailing piece, allows you to do lots of interesting mosaic type shapes. I also like this piece a fair amount. It's a little newer. It's a 1x1 with axle hole in it. I'd prefer it in a color other than black, but of course black's a good useful color to use in the base of anything that we're building. So move my hand over here, whoop, and then back, whoop. No, there we go. Well, temporarily. So another cool technical piece, at least, even if it's not a highlight from like a decoration or greeble standpoint. I did briefly flip this guy over. Our big, what is it, 8x12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep. Sort of paneling piece. These look, of course, very much like armor plates with rivets in them, sort of with the design. Rivets are big screws. I suppose we can also throw Sabine up with her friends up here on the computer You can't see that area anymore, but up there hanging out with her friends. Okay, where to next? Let's go to bag number 2. No characters in bag number 2. But looks like lots of dark gray. A little bit more red. This is probably mostly structural. You can see we've got our odd and random blue piece. Of course, LEGO, when doing designs, like to use these colorful pieces on the interior places, not just for a variety of the parts you use, but also to make it easier to follow the directions, so that the parts stand out and they don't get as mixed up in a sea of nothingness, as it were. A couple of parts that jump out to me right away. We've got this new 2x3 double jumper. It's kind of a cool piece. So converting odd number of studs 3 back down to 2 up into the center. Very cool piece. Got another one of the 2x2 or 2x4 double jumper with stud in center. This time in dark gray. The last one we had was black. I rather like this Technic piece as well. Lets you add a hole, a Technic stud hole. On the bottom of a plate or brick. Of course, they have the opposite piece of this with a pair of holes in it, that doesn't fit on the bottom of a plate like this, but instead fits on the top. None in this set that I've seen so far, but perhaps we'll find one later. We've got our bar stud combo again in dark gray. So we've seen light gray and dark gray for that guy now. We also have this part, which is neat and a little overdue. They also have this piece in a variety with only one stud in the center, but it's got a pair of the bar holders on the outside on it. It's a pretty cool piece. Let's see here. We also have a classic greebling type piece here. I don't know what I'd like to call this piece. The tooth piece. I think there are several other things that LEGO can claim to be the tooth piece. But this sort of, if you flip it over, it looks like a tooth that goes up into a gum line when you stack them next to each other. It gives you the sense of a tooth or maybe a toenail. But a cool piece nonetheless. And I think we're starting to see them built like this now. One piece that has what I sort of call the pill piece, the 1x2 with the rounds on each end tile. So we've got 3 of those. Not a bad piece. Let's see here. Decent amount of snot bricks that have studs on both sides in black. And also in light bluish gray. So it looks like we've got several in both colors. So this is a really good snot piece for some really compact snot work where you're building off not only vertically, but also horizontally on either side. So another cool piece there. Quite a few of those. This is a newer piece as well. I'm not sure I've seen this. Maybe I'm just behind the times here. But this guy has got studs on both the front side and the back side. I have seen this piece that has studs also on these sides as well. I'm not sure I've seen one that's just front and back with nothing on the sides. I could just be mistaken, but it's new to me at least. I've got plenty of them that only have studs on one of the sides. And as I mentioned, I have ones that have kind of studs on all 4 sides, but just 2 sides, I'm not sure. It's new to me at least. So a couple cool pieces there. We've got a couple lift arms in here too. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, the 9 length ones. So not not super rare, but it's hard for me to keep track of what parts you can get. Because they don't always come in every color and every length. So kind of a cool piece there too. All right, let's move on. We've only got 2 bags left. Let's see what else we can get from our mock standpoint in these last 2 bags. So far, I'd say there's a decent number of small greeble parts, not a lot of really big parts. The shuttle canopy is not bad. Like I said, my print looks pretty good on mine. It's printed, no sticker on that. Moving over to bag 5, I think this is the inverse of bag 4. Is that the one Sabine was in? It's probably why it's wise to do it in order. So I don't know, we'll have a lot to cover here. It's pretty much just that bag again, but it will tell you kind of double up on some of the cool pieces we found in bag 4. So another one of the pearl dark gray shooters, stud shooters. There we go. Some more of the stud with bar piece on it and light bluish gray. I only see one. Some more of those Technic axle 1x1s in black. Got a pair of them there that I stacked. Another one of these stud reversing nipple piece type things. We've got 4 more of our 1x2s with the rounded sides and the hollow studs in the middle, which, by the way, I always hear referred to as Apollo studs. I think that's sort of a misnomer. I think they were intended to be called hollow studs and someone misheard or something, or so the legend goes. I don't know. Several more of our half 2x2 plates there. In terms of our big pieces, sort of the same fare as we had before. Nothing too exciting. We've got for spaceship builders or whoever who needs some wings, got a couple of the big guys in here, as well as another one of those 8x12 super tile armor plate like looking bits. So decent selection overall. That bag not entirely thrilling, just a little bit more of what we saw in bag 4 minus of course Sabine. Now I believe there is one more character in this set who I believe we'll find in this last bag. Yes, sort of a Sith Inquisitor like looking character. If I didn't mention them before, a couple more of the 2x3 tiles as well while we're cleaning up here. And I guess the Sith Inquisitor guy has a name. It's, Morok or something like that. I don't know, but I'm suspicious that perhaps we'll see his face at some point and he'll be important. I don't know. Hard for me to judge so far with only a couple episodes into the Ahsoka series. But here we go, opening up our final bag, bag 3. I think I saved this one for last. I suspect we're going to see a few interesting pieces in here to talk about for sure. My first question, I think the one a lot of people always have anytime a masked character is put up on screen is he going to have a face? Or are they giving away too much if they show us his face? So I have a strong suspicion that we're just going to get a blank minifig head when we get to it. Here it is. Yeah, it looks like a blank. So it looks like he's constructed with sort of this cool armory bit here. It's got some dark red accents to go along with the pearl dark grayness. One downside to having that busy background, it doesn't like focusing sometimes. But there's some dark red highlights on there. You might not be able to see them super well as well. There's back printing. It's kind of more of the same. He's got this big armor piece, of course, with the clip on back to hold his cool Inquisitor lightsaber. And then he's kind of got your Knights of Ren, Sith Inquisitor looking helmet. That helmet, I think, structurally speaking, would be fine in the Castle era as well, or maybe a ninja set. But sort of the way it looks, it's a little futuristic still, but I think it could pass as sort of a evil guy type helmet in a fantasy setting of some variety. So, and then of course we have the dual blade spinning lightsaber Inquisitor piece here. So a very cool piece in general. Not only does it serve, of course, as a double lightsaber bar, but it has the ability in the center here to be a clip, to clip in, as well as a pair of bar receptacles on either end. So it can be used for more than just a lightsaber hilt. A pretty cool piece overall. I don't see any extras. I think you only get one, which is a little disappointing, but I guess that's fine. It'd be cool to get an extra one of those, just because I think the part is perhaps more versatile than just being a minifig accessory. I think we'll probably see it used as a steering yoke and as a mechanical detail for sure. Let's see. Of course, as I had mentioned, seeing if there's some sort of stop on this piece when it's connected, so that your wings don't just flutter about without you adjusting them, is something I'm interested in seeing in the instructions. But who knows at this point? This is a slightly newer Technic piece. At least I think it's slightly newer. Maybe it's not. But it's pretty cool panel piece that has axle connectors or pin connectors on multiple sides. So it can sort of help you change direction or really secure something that you're building. Got some thrusters in dark bluish gray, some conical thruster pieces. I'm sure they can be used for all kinds of other conical shaped things. They're thrusters to me. This part, which I've always really liked, it's a triple axle piece, but also has a pair of pin connectors in it. I have a ton of these in light bluish gray. Also have a bunch in trans blue. I don't have a bunch in this color. They are not your regular dark gray. They are pearl dark gray. And there are a number of them. I think they're used probably for engines on this particular ship. Though, imagination, we can use them for a number of other things. They look good as gun barrels, for example, on a mech that you're building, or as just a rotating cam-like piece, or a hub type piece in a Lego set. So pretty cool piece, and you get 4 of them in this set. Also, we've got the half pin. Actually, I think they call these quarter pins, because I think the half pins are the ones that. No, I think these are. Yeah, I think these are half pins, and then 3/4 pins are the ones that are a little longer. So these are the half pins in red. I know most of the ones I have in this particular variety are either blue or light bluish gray. I don't know that I have many in red. I think I've scooped up a few in white in sets recently, but I don't think I have many in red. So there's 3 in red in case you're into that for whatever reason. Another couple of our bar with stud pieces in dark bluish gray again. Another pair of those. And then this piece, which LEGO started using quite a bit to help them design parts at an angle. So it's got the bar connection on the back, and then the studs and anti-stud type shapes on the front. It's a very versatile piece. It's used a lot. I haven't used it as much as Lego has. I did use it a few times on my Mr. Heavy Pants mech here to secure on the bottom of my foot here the ability to sort of adjust the heel up and down a little bit for standing on some unique terrain. So it's a part I probably will find myself using more, but very popular with Lego. And of course, I can't complain that they're in light bluish gray. I think that's a good color as well for my purposes. I always seem to find that I need more of these. The bar with the clip on the end of it. I find I need them in all kinds of colors, but light bluish gray tends to be one I need them in frequently. There's a couple of light bluish gray ones in here. We've got the 2x2 with the stud hole on each side. This is a newer piece. It's not brand new by any means, but newer at least. It's a cool piece. And so overall, what do I think here? There's a cute number of pieces in here. There's a good number of plates. There's not a ton of brick. Good number of plates and brick or plates in dark red as well as the gray colors. There's a little bit of brick, but most of the brick I saw were of the snot variety to change direction. So not a lot of brick, but a good number of plates. I always appreciate that for my purposes in building, since when I'm building MOCs, I don't tend to use a lot of bricks. I use a lot more plates and slopes than I ever will bricks. So it's good to see a decent variety of them. Of course, you can always find the instructions for Lego up online. I'm not going to show too much of the instruction manual here, but I do want to get a look to see if the connection into the rotating wing piece is secured, or if it just sort of flies around loosey-goosey. What my fear might be on that. Well, it looks to me here when that piece goes in, it has a nice solid connection base on the light bluish gray side, but then the dark bluish gray side doesn't seem to have anything keeping it from rotating too much here. We'll take a couple more pages for when it connects to something to see if that means we are going to basically get some pretty free rotation, or if there's going to be some sort of something keeping us from just sort of flying all over the place. And there we see the wing going in right here on just the pin connectors here. Nothing really to keep it from moving yet. We'll still reserve judgment here for another few seconds as we look through it. And then you can see sort of the center hub after the second wing is attached on this guy here. But it looks like it's going to be pretty free-flowing. You'll have to check out other Lego reviews to see if that's true. But it seems like if you pick up your ship, you can expect your wings to sort of auto-rotate. Maybe Lego will tell you that's a feature, not a bug. I don't know. For me, I was hoping to learn a few additional tricks on this guy here to maybe keep that thing from moving around too much, but looks like it's not to be. We've got our basic Lego catalog, Lego instruction booklet type look going on here. Nothing too extravagant. Looks like I'm going to get some additional pieces, though, that I'll be able to use for Mr. Mech here. So I think I will be able to add a few details or build a companion for him with some of the nice greeble pieces and some of the nice dark red pieces that we're going to get in Ahsoka's T-6 Jedi Shuttle. Let's add me back into the mix here. I think I can do that if I just press this. There I am, the mouse. We can switch over to solo up on me. 45 minutes we've talked while the cat is away. The mouse has played in our T-6 Jedi Shuttle part dissection. Hopefully it's content that you guys enjoy. I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants on this. We're not spending a lot of time editing. We're just going to get it up and see if you guys like this. Make sure if you do to subscribe. I'll try to do this a little more often when I can find sets early to talk about some of the parts. We, of course, oftentimes also do special segments during our Think Outside the Blocks webcast, which we typically do every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time here in the US. We are off this week while Mark is in Italy for a wedding, as I mentioned earlier. That's why the mouse is allowed to play today. So comment, like, subscribe, all those things if you want us to keep bringing you this kind of content. And let's rock our way out of here tonight. Here we go. Thanks, everybody. Catch you in the next one.